So a 5% improvement in this KPI can add hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue without spending more money on marketing. And so this is one of the most under-optimized KPIs in, HVAC, residential and commercial. And so it's your quote to sale conversion percentage by month. And so what it's saying is how many quotes were given and how many souls were made, how many sales were made, and then just a ratio of that. So it's pretty straightforward on the surface. It's just getting to this here takes a bit of time. And so I'll walk you through this if you bear with me. So we have a data set here, pretty standard marketing data set. I have several HVAC clients. And so, we create these things and it's pretty straightforward. When did you get the lead? Where did they come from? What campaign? New or existing, what do they need help with? Where are they located? What was the cost of the lead? Were appointments set? Was a quote given? Was a sale closed? How much money? Gross profit, all that stuff. But the main thing we need is going to be lead date in either one of these. Like if you have a timestamp, which you should with your leads, but also if you want this file, there's a link to download it. And so you can work directly from this. And so we need some kind of timestamp, whether it's just a date or whether it includes the hour, because we want the month and the year, and we can get that from either one of these. Then what we're going to want is, was a quote given? And then what we're going to want is, was it closed? So pretty straightforward. So you really don't need all these columns. You just need those three: the date, quote given, and then sold. But if you have something like this, which hopefully you do, it's going to be very useful because you can get like 15 different very valuable KPIs from something as simple as this data set. And this is, 10 leads a day. So if you're getting 10 leads or 15 leads or 20 leads a day, just have somebody recreate this, on your team, like maybe your assistant or, some data entry person, because this is extremely valuable. Okay. So what we need first is we need to get a unique, well, actually, no, let me step back because I've already done it to show you the end result. But what we want is we want to get the month and the year here. And the way we do that is with the text function. So equals text. And then you can do either one of these columns because it has the same month, right? They're both January. So text and then comma and then quotations and 4 M's. And then now you have the month. And then for the year, same function, text. Instead of 4 M's, you can do 4 Y's. And so that's how you can pull that out. But we don't need that because I've already done it. But that's how you do it. And then we need a unique list of those columns, meaning we want to remove the duplicates. So equals unique, and then just go back to the month. You can just highlight the month and the year, and then press Control, Shift, and the down arrow. And then now you have this. And then I'm going to highlight this, press Control C, and then press Control Shift V to remove the formula. And then we'll call this date for whenever we make the chart. So equals that, and now we have a date that's recognizable. I know I go a little bit fast in these. I try to keep them fairly short. And there's the setup time, takes a little bit of time. And then so I try to move fast, but just feel free, to pause the video if I go too fast. So the first thing we need is the quote given column. If you remember, there was a quote given column and then a sale closed column. And then we have month and year. The reason why I'm showing you these is because I'm not going to go back to the tab. I'm going to do all the formulas here without going back. And so we want to count if the month is January, the year is 2025, and the quote given was yes. So and criteria, not or, right? So COUNTIFS. And the S in COUNTIFS stands for multiple criteria. And so, because it's in a table, we can name the table, and we have that here. So table leads, and then you can go in any sequence that you want. So I'll just start with quote given, yes, table leads, month is here, table leads, year is here. And so 47, and then you just double click that down. And then for the sale, we need the same exact formula, but we also just need to add one thing. So we need exactly this, but what we're going to add now is going to be the sold, not source type, the sale closed column, comma, yes. And now you have that. So the benefit of having everything in a table is, one, it makes the formula easier to understand because it's not like COUNTIFS, A1 to A50, And so it just makes it easier. So for the ratio, just divide these two. If you press Control Shift and the number 5, you'll format it as a percentage. And then for target, let's just do 60%. And then underneath that equals the one above it. And then double click. And that's so you can make this dynamic. And I'll show you once we build the chart what that means. So for the chart, we're going to want the columns to be the quote, and then the line to be the ratio, and then the target to be that other straight line, if you remember from the beginning of the video. And so highlight these two columns, hold down the Control key, and then highlight these two columns. And then insert, recommended charts. You can see this is almost there, but the ratio is on the same axis as the quotes. So you have 0.57 on an axis that has 120 maximum value. So we don't want that. So click all charts, combo, and then now you can see we want the ratio and the target to be lines, both of them like this, but we want them all, you can see here they're both on the same axis of 120. So we want them to have a secondary axis over here, not to be on the y-axis of 120. So just click secondary axis for both of these. And so yeah, that's how you create the chart. And so I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping just to make it look a little bit better. That's a little bit big. But so we can just call this chart, we'll call it a quote to sell conversion percentage by month. And then for this green line, what I want to do is I want to make it like change the color and make it black. So just click on the line, little paint bucket here, and then you can do black, and then make it thinner because we don't want it to take up a lot of real estate. We just want to see it. Like we just want to see if the orange line is above or below. And so the next thing, if you want, you might not want this, but if you do, like you want to see the values. So whenever you click in the chart, you'll see a crosshair. And then here you can do data labels. But the problem is that doesn't help, right? It's too noisy. So if you click on the orange line and then do data labels, it'll give it to you for just that. And it's still a little bit hard to see. So what we can do is click on the number. You can see all the little boxes, go to home, and then you can just pick, a background that you like, whatever you think. And so, yeah, that's how you can easily calculate, your quote to sell conversion ratio in 7 minutes and 50 seconds. And so, as always, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, questions@databoards.io. And also, if you need some help, structuring this data, again, there's a link to download it. If you can't find it, shoot me an email. But if you need some help recreating something like this, if you have the data, it's going to be very valuable because there's a lot of different insights you can get that I cover in the book and then that I cover in other videos as well. But if not, if you don't have any questions and if you don't need any help with anything, then that's all I got for this video, and I'll see you in future videos.